Good morning and welcome to the AM show. My name is Enimwa Enim Ado. It's Monday, December 13th, and it's almost Christmas. But considering that it's almost Christmas, remember that there's also a quest to inoculate more than 20 million Ghanaians by the end of the year. Now that's a target that the Ghana Health Service is not toying with and has set aside this month as Vaccination Month. And we're asking Ghanaians to get the jabs as a no vaccination, no entry regime is likely to start next year. Today, ahead of Christmas, we take a look at how far we've come in this regard and what more is left to cover. We'll be coming to you live from Jamestown, which is one of the places that's known for vaccine hesitancy. We'll also take a look at how the other regions are working towards achieving this. We'll be speaking to Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng. He's the Borno East Director of Health, and Professor Alfred Yossen, who's the head of Community Health, University of Ghana Medical School. We'll also be talking about a smart app that's being produced by IT company Minex. And of course, showbiz news. And of course, we'll also be telling you about Instruma. I know how much you love it. You know the Adum TV's High Life singing reality show for kids. Well, the auditions have already taken place in Kumasi, Takoradi, and Accra to find the top 30 contestants for the competition. We will be announcing the winners of the auditions today on the show when Kobi Eshan, Adum TV channel coordinator, joins us. It's going to be an exciting Monday morning. Everything that you need to get you gingered up for the week ahead. My name is Enima Animado. I'll be doing this until 9 a.m. Coming up next is the AM News with Mapitso Sabidi. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Good morning once again and welcome to the AM News. Our very first story this morning, President Akufo-Addo has hit back at his free SHS critics, insisting the latest WASSCE results is proof of the success of the education policy. He said despite the associated challenges with its implementation, he's proud of its achievements so far. The president was speaking at the 70th anniversary of the Tamale Senior High School in Tamale.
Tamale Senior High School, established in 1951, is the first senior high school in the northern sector with 20 boys. It was named Government Secondary School. The name was later changed to Bewa Secondary School in 1972 and then Tamale Secondary School in 1976. The school has produced many prominent people, including Dr. Hilal Liman, the former Vice President Alhaji Aliu Mahama, the Assistant Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, among several other prominents. The 70th anniversary brought together several people from all walks of life to celebrate the day. The president, who touted the success of the free SHS, said there were some people who described the policy as a waste and was going to compromise the quality of Ghana's education.
Experiences of developed nations have shown us that the most efficient way to create a society of opportunities and thereby guarantee the future of our nation is by investing in education and skills training of our youth. 5 years on, following the implementation of the free senior high school policy, which has guaranteed a minimum of senior high school education for 1.6 million Ghanaian children, I want to state without any equivocation that I'm very proud of the policy and of its results thus far. A look at the WASSCE results of the first batch of free SHS graduates, whom I choose to call the Akufo-Addo graduates, and that of those whose results have just been released, give further evidence of why the free HS policy has been a success so far. There can no longer be any controversy about the validity of the free HHS policy and its consequential measures. It is working. Let us forego partisan parochial considerations which confer little benefit and all agree the free SHS has to be a part of our national educational architecture for at least a generation, if not forever.
He said government is committed to ensuring quality, relevant education that would produce confident, skillful manpower for the country.
Government is committed to ensuring quality, relevant education that will produce confident, skilled global citizens, fully versed in the new digital technology and ready and able to compete with their counterparts anywhere in the world.
The headmaster of the school, Reverend Edward Azika, charged the students to put up their best, noting that their predecessors have set the bar.
The bar has already been raised for you. You cannot lower the standard. That is why we have set ourselves every year to get at least 10% improvement over the previous performance.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has hinted that governments will use the Ghana Stock Exchange as a tool for the revival of the economy post-COVID-19. He says the GCE will be central in government's quest to provide long capital for entrepreneurs and the expansion of businesses in the country. He was speaking after receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 30th Anniversary Dinner and Awards of the Ghana Stock Exchange in Accra.
We identified a lack of access to medium to long-term capital as a key constraint for unleashing the potential of our private sector. In response, we've worked with the SEC, GSE, and other stakeholders to develop what Daniel mentioned, a capital markets plan. Ladies and gentlemen, the capital markets master plan, which we launched earlier this year, will take us to where we have to go, a modern society with access to long-term capital. Undeniably transforming Ghana's stock exchange into a deep, efficient, diversified, and well-regulated exchange is central to our Ghana Cares the Baton Purpose COVID-19 recovery agenda. Additionally, the policy connection with initiatives like the 10 billion CD Youth Start program for the youth is straightforward. Step by step, the government wants to work with the GSE to transform into a critical reservoir of patient capital for young Ghanaians to fund their dreams and ideas. In government, we are encouraged by the development efforts of nations such as Singapore. Over 20 years, they deliberately grew their stock exchange from a market cap of some 192 billion to over a trillion, over 40% of issuers based outside Singapore.
Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Joseph Nyako Boampong, is calling on Ghanaian and African universities to take concrete steps towards identifying and addressing local and regional development needs by offering innovative academic programs which meet the 21st century skills and provide an entrepreneurial mindset. He indicated that though the COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to many economies around the globe, it has nonetheless helped many African universities define their peculiar solutions. Speaking at the University of Cape Coast's Best Researcher Awards and Researcher Supports Grant ceremony, he highlighted several breakthroughs in research by the university's scientists that would be beneficial for the local communities and Ghana as a whole.
Professor Johnson Nyako Boampong indicated many African universities, including the University of Cape Coast, have been pushed by the pandemic to innovate and research into areas that hitherto were not being considered. The Vice Chancellor indicated the UCC scientists are being challenged to undertake more research that would inure to the benefit of local communities and affect national outcomes as well. He further charged African universities to appreciate local needs and work towards getting solutions to them through research and innovation.
This pandemic has proven to be more than just an infectious disease problem. It has exposed weak economies, inadequate health systems, affected societal cohesion, and disrupted our educational systems. Ironically, beyond being one of the worst pandemics ever, COVID-19 has helped African universities to better define their peculiar solutions and chart unique paths forward. The symbiosis between research and innovation is epitomized by the biotechnology front, where research by UCC scientists have culminated in novel variants of plants and animals that are disease-resistant, drought-resistant, pest-resistant, and all higher yielding. Our scientists are pioneering several other innovations in artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and social innovation in community development.
The director of DRIC, Professor Atuama, outlined some challenges faced by some innovators at the university.
Innovators across the 5 colleges in UCC face very different circumstances with regard to such factors as financial demands, time to product, and intellectual property protection. These differences call for nuanced institutional policy approaches.
Some of the award winners and grant recipients spoke to Joy News.
We are looking at teacher effect variable. Research has shown that there are a number of indicators, factors that contribute to students' performance, and the teacher factor is one of the most important one. And even within the teacher variable, there are other factors: teacher quality, teachers' instructional leadership, teachers' relationship with the students, teachers' pedagogy, teachers' assessment approaches and skills. So all these things come together, but we are looking at the most important variable among the one that I have mentioned. So it has a lot of policy implication. If we are able to come out with good findings and good recommendations, it will inform policy at the Ministry of Education, it will inform practice within the Ministry of within the Ghana Education Service, and it will inform teacher performance and student performance.
The UCC Best Researcher Awards and Research Support Grant has been in place since 2015. It is to improve research excellence and innovation at the university and help seek local, national and international solutions to challenges. Richard Kwejenya Akon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
The national president of the Conference of District Directors of Agriculture, Alhaji Mumuni Ibrahim, has charged government to issue a directive to the various municipal and district assemblies to release a percentage of the district assembly's common fund to the Agric directorates for the funding of various agric-related policies. He made this call at the 3rd Biennial Conference of the District Directors of Agriculture in Techiman in the Bono East region. Correspondent Anas Sabit has more in the following report.
The 3rd Biennial Conference of the District Directors of Agriculture was held in Techiman under the theme Decentralization and its Impact on Agriculture. National President of the Conference of District Directors of Agriculture, Alhaji Ibrahim Mumuni, bemoaned some of the challenges agric directors go through in accessing funds to aid their various activities.
A lot of challenges as a result of we're not coming together happens one district to the other. Some of them includes the release of our funds, sometimes from the MMDAs to our district department of Agric to work, comes late. The money is released and picking it from the sub-CF and then to the department to work takes a longer time.
However, called on government to issue a directive to local assemblies to release a quota of the assembly's common fund for the funding of agric-related policies.
We suggest that there should be a directive from central government. There should be a directive that at least 2%. I'm not giving a figure for government, but what I'm saying is that looking at it, we have done a lot of work on it, and we know how much averagely planting for export and rural development in a district you spend. So if even the common fund comes and they give us a percentage, that this percentage we are giving it out, but that should be a directive.
Chairman of the occasion and Bono East Regional Minister Kwesi Edujan noted that the conference would help improve the performance of the Directorate in terms of providing the needed support to local farmers.
Yeah, this conference is very important, and the theme that they are looking at, the subject, the impact of decentralization, in respect to the agriculture sector. What's the impact? It makes it very effective. It brings the services, of MOFA closer to the farmers, makes it very possible for them to access the necessary services, use, education and sensitization. That comes with the work of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Guest speaker and Dean of the Faculty of Biosciences at the University for Development Studies, Professor Elliot Haruna Al-Hassan, emphasized that a decentralized system will empower various district directors of agriculture in terms of rendering better services to farmers within their localities.
Decentralization, therefore, assigned the full task of policy implementation to you, the district directors. You also, through this program, have some logistics that helps you to reach out to farmers in the field, to provide requisite technical support and transfer knowledge, technical knowledge for better agronomic practices, etc. Clearly, without decentralization, such resources would have been controlled from the center, with the attendant problems of bureaucracy, red tapeism, etc.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
Now, scores of volunteers thronged the forecourts of Love FM and Ensure FM in Kumasi to participate in the regular blood donation exercise. The exercise, which was organized for the second time in 2021, saw over 150 units of blood collected to stock the Komfo-Anokye Blood Bank. And there's more in the following report.
Izuchi Chibueke, who is a second-time donor, revealed his motivation to donate blood stemmed from a blood emergency where his cousin needed some pints of blood after a cesarean section. He says he will continue to donate blood to support people who may not be financially stable to purchase blood.
I have a cousin who was booked for a CS and it didn't really go as planned, so she lost a lot of blood. And the family had to run around to see what we could do. So at that point I realized that, it's an emergency, anything can happen. So if this is the little we can do to help, any other family that might not be financially stable enough to get blood when it's required as an emergency.
A 23-time donor, Philip Yabwa, has made it a habit to donate pints of blood to shore up the blood bank. Philip says his reason is premised on biblical allusions as he has been charged to do so.
I started from 2007. That's 14 years ago. Yes, so I've donated 23 times. The motivation is from Christ. On the Sabbath, Jesus Christ healed. And today is the Sabbath day, and I'm here donating. It means I'm just imitating what Jesus Christ did.
He encouraged the general public not to be scared of donating, but endeavor to help save lives. The Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital Blood Bank has suffered some shortages in the wake of the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. Principal Blood Recruitment Officer Benjamin Ahin reveals previous turnouts at the blood donation exercise have been huge.
Today, so far, we have collected almost 150 units of blood and still counting. The day is still young, so we are hoping that by the close of the session, most of our listeners from Multimedia, Ensure and Love FM will come around to donate. Normally, when you have an exercise with Multimedia, we collect 200 to 300 units of blood. So we're expecting that by the close of the day, we'll collect about 2 to 250 units of blood.
Recent low turnouts have been attributed to public fear of contracting the COVID-19 virus. Mr. Ahin allayed fears and encouraged people to visit the hospital periodically and donate blood to shore up the blood bank.
There was a big shortage during COVID. You remember when the pandemic came in, there was no social gathering. So people were, one, scared to come around because they thought they would get COVID through some of these exercises. Some of our donors were scared to even enter the facility to come and donate. And because our work has to do with gathering, we were not able to gather more people around for them to take part in this exercise. So it was also affecting our collections. So we are using this platform to entreat all our donors that COVID is there, but you can't get it through blood donation. So they should come around and come and donate to save a life.
The blood donation was carried out alongside COVID-19 vaccination to support the government's mass vaccination drive.
So over 200 pints of blood have been collected today at this event. It's safe to donate to save some lives. When next there is an ongoing exercise of blood donation in your vicinity, ensure to donate. From Kumasi for Joy News, Emmanuel Bright-Kweko reporting.
And that's it for the AM News, but the show continues right after this. We're diving straight into the newspapers now, and my very good friend in a suit, it's Monday, so he's in a suit.
Yeah.
Elton is joining us from across the road. Hello.
Hi.
I think I should call you Mr. Elton proper.
You are allowed to do that.
Yeah, yes. This
one
you are not Bra Elton at all. How's your weekend?
It was good. I mean, Saturday was more restful.
Oh, nice.
Yesterday I was +1, so
it
was a quiet time at home.
Please, what does I was +1 mean?
Yesterday was my birthday, so...
Oh, it was?
Yeah, so...
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So what did you do?
Oh, I was home. I mean, we had lunch. And
you know when you say I was +1, you know where my mind went, right? But okay, so you had lunch and then...
Yeah, I had lunch at home, and that was it. I mean...
With some family?
Yeah, family and then reflecting on a lot of things.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you
Many
very
more
much.
to come. Okay.
So how was the weekend too?
For us? It was very, I was up and down the whole time. But yeah, I tried
some
to.
galamsey here.
No galamsey. The kind of, you go around there, you come with me, you're like, I've wasted fuel and I've come back with no money. But yeah, what's exciting for us in the newspapers this morning?
Well, the Daily Graphic, Free SHS a success. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. Unvaccinated arrivals at Kotoka International Airport to take COVID-19 jabs. And the warning here is that if you are an airliner and you bring in somebody who is not unvaccinated, you are going to pay $3,500 per head.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is the staff tax taken by
the airline?
That's the airline taken by the Ghana Health Service. Access Bank built capacity in SME in the Western region. If we go
There's
to
some
the middle,
rape cases story as well.
Yes, yeah. So 15,000 rape cases annually. DOFSU describes as alarming, and we'll get to the details of these stories. The 8th edition of the Ghana Oil and Gas Awards. We have pictures spread across the
There were
middle
lots of
page.
award ceremonies this
Lots of
weekend.
awards and lots of luncheon. The Asantene had the last Akwesidai of the year, and they outdoor the Asantene Queen. Yeah, so let's see how it goes.
I see.
Very beautiful. Fireside Bite Sharks to jump to the top spots of the EPL. Kotoka did not play. Karela devour Lions by 3-0 to 3-0. So that's the Daily Graphic. Can I go into the details of the paper? So let's start with President Akufo-Addo and the free senior high school program. Now, President Akufo-Addo has said the free senior high school policy implemented by his administration has proved to be a success and must be sustained as a permanent feature of the educational system. He said the performance of the free SHS students in the West African Senior High School showed that the government was upholding quality in the implementation of the policy. A look at the WASI results of the first batch of the free senior high school graduates, the Akufo-Addo graduates, and those whose results have just been released gives further evidence of why the free SHS policy has been a success so far, he noted. Now, President Akufo-Addo said 5 years after the implementation of the policy, which had guaranteed a minimum of SHS education for 1.6 million Ghanaians children, was very proud of the policy and the result. He was speaking at the 70th anniversary of the Tamale Senior High School over the weekend. He indicated that the performance of the 2021 batch of the students who were the pioneers of the double track system, which elicited much vilification and unfounded criticism of its introduction was the highlight of his speech. Now we can go to this story in page 16 of the Daily Graphic, and it talks about something that we all reject, and it's about growing rape cases in the country. And according to statistics available at the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service, indicates that 1,047 girls were defiled, while 305 women were raped in 2020. Very sad.
That's
very sad.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. The Director General of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, Mr. Isaac Kenyabwa, has described the statistics as alarming. He disclosed the data in a speech read on his behalf by the Director of DOFSU Chief Superintendent of Police, Mrs. Owusu Achremen, at the inauguration of the interviewing room for people who suffer domestic and gender-based violence for the Medina DOFSU. Although Mr. Yabua did not share figures on the case of defilement and rape in the past, he said about 15,000 cases of violence against women were reported to law enforcement agencies annually. And it brings into question the role parents are playing to ensure that their underage girls are protected at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you drive through the outskirts of town in some of these old neighborhoods. And sometimes it's late, 10, 11 p.m. and you still find children, loitering around.
Walking around, yeah. I mean, there are so many times I've seen like little girls even during the day.
Yeah.
Going somewhere.
Yeah.
You see 5-year-old, they're going, and then many times I've stopped as I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah, sometimes school time, and they are loitering around. Sometimes you ask them and they say their parents have asked them to go and sell water or something. Or their parents are indoors, and for that reason they've been asked to stay out.
Or they've sent them to go. And I'm thinking, why would you send your 4 or 5 or 6-year-old daughter to go and buy, like, how? Anyway.
Because to be subjected to this kind of cruelty at this early period of their life is quite,
it changes,
quite demeaning.
It changes you,
and no one knows how this is going to impact on them in the years to come. Let me deal with this matter, because we are getting unconfirmed information that the South African president has tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah.
But what I can say for sure, he was in Ghana recently.
I was just thinking the same thing when I saw the story. Yes, he came with some 200 people. But what I can say for sure is that those who got closer to the South African delegation, everybody has been tested at the Jubilee House, including myself. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, good.
Yeah. So the Ghana Health Service has directed that all unvaccinated Ghanaians and people with resident status who will be returning to the country after 14 days from midnight yesterday will be vaccinated on arrival. Additionally, all persons who are 18 and above arriving in the country are required to provide evidence of full vaccination for COVID-19. The directive forms part of review of nationwide COVID-19 preventive protocol instituted at the Kotika International Airport to limit the importance or the importation of COVID-19. The review is included in the raft of new measures the government is rolling to prevent rising cases during the Christmas and New Year festivities and avoid a fourth wave. And a warning from the Ghana Health Service and indeed government to operators of airlines that are in the country is that if you should bring somebody who is not fully vaccinated, you'll pay $3,500 per head. The middle page has pictures, the back page, Pfizer buys Shark to jump to the top spot, and it's about Kim Pfizer jump to the top spot of the Ghana Premier League after shrugging off an early threat from Elmina Sharks to record a thin 1-0 win at the Bavaria Sports Stadium in Kumasi yesterday. Remember, House of Folk is still out of the country. They are yet to come by. That's how come their match against Asante Kotoko was called off. Karela Devore Lions 3-0. So if you check the league table...
House of Folk out of the country?
So I think they had, they also went by what do you call it? One way ticket. One way. They didn't buy a round trip, so they are now looking for ticket to come back home.
I'm wondering whether these teams do that because they are hoping when they go they'll win and then get money to come back.
Well, how do you anticipate such a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, you are going for a tournament.
But you haven't anticipated some of those things before. You are going somewhere, you don't have the money, but you know that when you get there, you get some.
This is fatal hesitation. You cannot do that. So that's the Daily Graphic.
Okay, let me get into the Ghanaian Times now. President touts free SHS success, slams critics saying, I am proud of policy and its results. Operation Clean Your Frontage sets to take off with 27 heavy-duty truck drivers. Government to construct 35 STEM SHSs, 5 universities. Education Minister, Integrity is pivotal in combating illegal mining. Okay, let me just do a quick run through of some of the stories. Police constable 29 killed by unregistered vehicle at checkpoint. Woman 28 grabbed for abandoning day-old baby in bush. And a Denton court orders psychiatric examination of woman 27. It's a woman who stabbed her mother because she claimed that her mother was married to her in the spiritual realm. So she's getting psychiatric.
It's not surprising. In fact, somebody in Kumasi saw somebody, she saw another person in his dream claiming that in the dream the person was having an affair with a wife. The next day he went to kill the person.
Yeah, okay. It's not easy. Anyway, people with Omicron in hospital, as minister says, variants will dominate and grow. So this is cabinet minister in South Africa who's talking to Sky News, and he's talking about the fact that even though the Omicron seems to have less severe symptoms, high infection rates could still see tens of thousands of people needing medical treatment. Operation Clean Your Frontage set to take off with 27 heavy-duty truck drivers. Okay, interesting. What is happening to me? Not approved for use by students, schools. Have you seen that book, the What is Happening to Me?
Yeah, I've seen it, and I don't know whether it is an approved book for...
Well, that's what the
Ghana.
NACCA is saying. The National Council for Curriculum and Assessment says it has not approved What is Happening to Me.
Then they should take it off the market.
A book which highlights same-sex attraction and masturbation.
They should take it off the market.
Oh, boy. NHIS Beam of Light for the Childhood Cancer Journey. Okay, let's see what's in the middle page. President touts free SHS success. He was speaking at Tamale Senior High School. So, presents gold award to 160 young people ahead of state awards. And Samuel Jinapo talking about integrity being pivotal in combating illegal mining. Okay, purports perpetrators of sexual abuse to authorities. That's also in the newspaper. Cancellation of payment of road tolls. Government to lose 7 million Ghana cedis. But we knew that before we made that decision. So, Muhammad Ali's grandson wins third professional fight. Clubs approve 1.9 billion euro deal as Barca and Real Madrid opt out. Lomachenko routes coming. Calls for world title shots. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United win. Anyway, I'm sure Muftar will bring us all the sports news.
Yeah.
Back page, some more sports. Hazaka's ladies ditch Ampem Dakwa, and Berkum Chelsea host cities at Elwak. That's it for the Ghanaian Times.
So, anymore, the Daily Statesman. I don't know whether last Friday you monitored the National Conference on Corruption, where it came to light per the analysis done by Shraj that, as we speak, 44 Ghanaians says that they've not had to pay extra money to any public official to get something done for them. Meaning they are not paying bribe, 44%. Now 16% says that they continually pay bribes to public officials to get something done for them. That was they encourage of the view that statistics shows that we are improving on the fight against corruption in the country.
Do you feel like that statistic is a true reflection?
I have my doubts because you know, corruption has become so endemic in the country. 44% says that they are no longer paying. Indeed, they mentioned the three northern regions, Volta, and then OT. And this region says that they have not had to pay an extra money to any public officials before getting something done for them. So for them,
I see, that's good.
Yeah, for them, the fight against corruption is on the right track. But on the public sector employees who are always at the forefront of this corruption, you know, perception, President Akufo-Addo says that the Attorney General, on behalf of government, is currently leading the effort to enact a law on the conduct of public officers. I don't know how this is going to help in dealing with the menace of corruption. Now, speaking at the National Anti-Corruption Conference last Friday, President Akufo-Addo noted that inasmuch as public officials are required to declare their assets upon taking office as a tool of fighting corruption, I am, however, of the candid opinion that the existing legislation on corruption relating to the conduct of public officers in Ghana appears to be inadequate to deal extensively with public office accountability. According to the President, need to lay down a set of far-reaching and of more fit-for-purpose set of regulations for the conduct of public officers, which will give efforts to the provisions of Chapter 34 of the Constitution on conduct of public officers, is, in my view, now self-evident. To this end, review the Attorney General over the past 4 months had undertaken various stakeholder consultation with a number of public sector organizations, civil society, and other interest groups to this end. So, meaning we're going to have a set of law that will regulate the conduct of our public officers. My problem is that in the 5th, 6th, and 7th Parliament, a bill to regulate this particular issue that the President is talking about came in and never saw the light of day. It never got passed. I don't know how the new vim that will be put behind this will get it passed.
New vim.
Because it was before the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th Parliament. It went through all the stages. It didn't get passed.
It didn't. Or maybe, I mean, maybe this time it'll be different.
Let's see how it goes.
That's the hope, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, the MPP will converge in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, for their annual National Delegates Conference to review some aspects of their constitution. That the party is warning that they've banned all activities associated with internal party contests, parliamentary presidential primaries, as well as any paraphernalia and advocacy for aspirants at the party's upcoming National Delegates Conference to be held in Kumasi from December 18th to December 20th, 2021. The party director of communications, Ababina Samuel, in the statement stated that the decision was taken at a National Steering Committee meeting of the party. How they are able to enforce this rule,
that'll be interesting to see.
We'll wait to see.
Yeah.
Because people will defy this. People will campaign for their various candidates, and that will be all. And finally, the Krobo area have lights.
You told me about that last week. First they had light, then they didn't have light. Then they were reconnected.
Now they have light.
They have light.
But the IGP is warning, if they should put up that behavior again, he will not step in to get the ECG to restore power to them.
Yeah,
but now there's power. There's tension between the youth of both communities and officials of ECG. The youth had accused ECG of wrong billing. They claim that there's a document that says that they shouldn't pay electricity.
They should never pay electricity.
Because their land was used for the custom dam. ECG says, prove it and let us go by the terms of the agreement. They could not. They resorted to
most likely
violence.
It was a spoken or verbal, which is unfortunate.
28-year-old man arrested for dumping day-old baby in a bush. That's also in the statement. Car crashes policeman on duty to death in the eastern region. Back page, Steven Gerrard, Liverpool fans pay homage, but legend uninterested in sentimental return. So he went there with Aston Villa, and it ended 1-0 in favor of Liverpool.
So it ended in tears for them. All right, okay, let's go through the daily guide really quickly. Free SHS critics shamed with eggs on faces. Okay, confusion over WASI results, integrity needed for mining sector regulation, and NPP gets tough on aspirants at Congress. All right, let me get into the international stories. Kentucky tornadoes, up to 100 feared dead in historic U.S. storms. Africa's richest woman to be denied U.S. entry. Oh gosh, okay. The U.S. will deny entry to Isabel dos Santos, once said to be Africa's richest woman for involvement in significant corruption.
The Angolan.
Yeah. So daughter of Angola's former president, Jose Eduardo dos Santos, who left office in 2017. Whilst he was president, she was chair of the state oil company. So that's interesting. Benin opposition leader sentenced to 20 years in prison. 3 dead, 6 missing after Italy building collapse. And Maradona's stolen watch has been found in India.
How come?
Okay, let me find out for you. A stolen Hublot watch that belonged to Diego Maradona has been recovered by police. Okay, so he died a year ago. Calling it an act of international cooperation, Assam State Police announced on Twitter on Saturday that the star's watch had gone missing from his Dubai residence and was recovered in a raid in Sibsagar in Abs. I wonder how they found it. A watch.
A watch, yeah.
Yeah.
The watch must be very expensive then.
It must be, and I think obviously the value will go up because he's died and, you know, as the years go by. But still, it's just interesting that a watch is found. Anyways, let me do some entertainment. Rocky Dawouni thrills at Grammy celebration concert. Dr. Dre celebrates being divorced AF. I'm not sure if you saw that picture. Dr. Dre just got divorced.
Yeah, last Friday. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells the kind of relationship they.
Nicole Young filed for divorce from Dr. Dre in June 2020 after 24 years of marriage. On Thursday, Andre Young was pictured posing in front of a balloon decoration that spelled out divorced AF as his friend and fellow music executive Breon Prescott teased that the music mogul's legal separation from Nicole Young was final.
Well, let's see how the court is able to come to a determination on how to
split the assets.
Yeah, the $1 billion asset that Dr. Dre has in his name.
Okay, well, apparently he was ordered to pay her $3.5 million a year in spousal support. In March, his attorney filed a motion of bifurcation with assertion that Young's false allegations. So there were domestic violence allegations and all of that. But yeah, interesting to see how they've been married for a long time.
Yeah, and they have 2 kids, between them.
I mean, so obviously she's going to walk away with a lot,
of course.
because I think there's such a thing as time equity, and obviously the number of years, whether he was famous before he met her, how much he has amassed in the course of the marriage. But anyway, he seems to be happy that he is free. Freedom at last, my beloved country. Okay, finally, Bessie Simons launches manifesto today. Oh, I see. Papaya is to celebrate 30th anniversary soon.
Yeah, Papaya has been
They've
around
been around for a long
yeah.
time. Interesting. 2022 will be productive for tourism. And on the back page, Milo names AFCON squad, and AFCON fear hits Liverpool. Eto'o takes over Cameroon football. Okay, that's it for the Daily Guide.
So the BFNT, that's Business and Financial Times, leads investor sentiments turn in economy's favor. Decline in donor funding reduces agri budget by 12.9%. The Ghana Stock Exchange sees decline in index for the past 4 weeks. But one of the biggest stories on the front page is that 27 heavy-duty truck drivers ready for Operation Clean Your Frontage. And the story says that 27 heavy-duty truck drivers who are part of the 58 drivers recruited for Operation Clean Your Frontage project have successfully passed out at the Armed Forces Transport Training School in Accra. The training, which was a collaboration between the Armed Forces Supply and Transport Training School and Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, was to enable these newly recruited drivers to handle waste truck set aside for the government Operation Clean Your Front Page. Let's see how that is able to get Accra to be the cleanest city in West Africa as espoused by President Akufo-Addo. Also, a drop in budgetary allocation to the Food and Agriculture Ministry to 1.1 billion Ghana cedis in 2022 compared to the inflation-affected allocation of 1.2 billion cedis in 2021, with 1.8 billion being actual allocation for the year, will make the agricultural sector budget decline by 12.9% in real terms next year. Now, how this will impact on the planting for food and jobs and other intervention by the agricultural ministry, including the supply of fertilizers and other farming inputs, we'll wait to see, because 12.9% is quite a huge, decline in budgetary allocation to the agricultural sector. Other stories: Hollard Insurance Science MAU Energy University support students. Purely business stories in the BFNS. Zonda Tech CEO wins prestigious award for promoting road safety and practice. If you get the Business and Financial Times, I'm sure you have all the business stories that you would need for this Monday morning.
Last paper this morning, The Finder. I support the Qatar Sea defense, but against NDC's political hostage taking. That's according to NAPO. NPP bans all activities associated with internal party contests. Free SHS results clear all doubts about its validity and quality. And solidarity among Africans will change situations irreversibly. I just wanted to talk about this for a second.
Which one?
The free SHS results clearing all doubts about its validity and quality. I don't think that anybody has ever actually been against the concept of free SHS.
No.
We've all supported it. I also don't think that the WASI results validate it. And this is the reason why. Over the course of the year, we've had so many conversations with parents who have said how much more it is costing them in extra classes fees to fill in the gaps of when the double track system is going on. So it actually means that with the free SH, parents are actually paying more to have their children coached on the side. And so, of course, you would expect that the results would be better if they're having one-on-one lessons with their teachers per subject. So it doesn't necessarily then come to the conclusion that free HS results clear all doubts. I mean, the system still has to be worked on. The gaps still have to be filled. You know, and I think that it's also important to laud parents in the cooperative efforts that it has taken to get to this point.
I think policymakers, including the president, what they are looking for is the end result, and that is what they are
but the
pushing.
end result is not there. It's not now, your work alone.
We have just talked about the Doves talking about rape and all these issues. Now you have children who will stay at home for sometimes 2-3 months. Waiting for the track to finish so that they can go. If parents don't have the means to keep them busy, what you are going to get is this. So access to education is key. Providing infrastructure to accommodate the huge numbers is also very key. So whilst we are trying to give education to everybody, we must look at how we provide the access and infrastructure for them to have the comfort to study and become whoever we want them to become in the future.
I think that
not necessarily looking at the result that is coming from.
I think that I would have voted Akufo-Addo African's best African of the year if he had actually in this speech also said that he would like to thank parents for their cooperation and highlighting the difficulties that parents have had to go through. With this. But anyways, it is what it is. We're going to be voting soon, so he has to hammer on the fact that free SHS was a good thing, which it was. But anyway, Continental Energy Plan is critical. Chief Director, validate your COVID-19 vaccination record at ADA. Why? Oh, this is the stress of the way we do things in Ghana that's just very, very stressful. You've gone and taken your COVID-19 thing. You've given us the thing. Now we have to go and validate for what?
I mean, there's always ways to make this, the system frustrating. I've got my COVID-19 passport, as they say it. I have it in my bag. Now I need to go and validate for what?
Yeah, because, so they're saying that you have to verify your vaccination details if you face challenges doing that electronically. Oh, sigh. Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bekwin, the Director of Public Health, told the Ghana News Agency that the service has some challenges with its data entry system, thus making it difficult for some people to do electronic validation. The interview followed complaints received by the GNA from some vaccinated persons that feedback from scanning the barcode using the QR scanner indicated that their records have not been captured. So now, why were the records? Oh, I'm just not going to talk about it.
Well, I hope they deal with this because there's too much frustration in the system.
Yeah, we both know that they're not going to deal with it.
And to add to it.
It's just... Yeah. Anyway, yellow fever deaths now at 46. News editors urge to intensify road safety awareness campaigns to save lives. Okay. Oh, Samuel Eto'o, elected president of Cameroon FA.
Yeah,
he is quite handsome.
A very big one.
Yeah, but it's just his handsomeness that's catching my.
You know, others tried, they didn't get it. Abedi Pele, remember during the Kufuor era, he put himself out for election. He was defeated, and then Didier Drogba for the Ivory Coast, he also did not get through. So for the third time, somebody from the football fraternity has emerged as the Cameroonian FA president. So we say congratulations to Samuel Eto'o.
Samuel Eto'o, nice. Okay. All right, that's it for the newspapers. Let's head over to myjoyonline.com. All right, COVID-19, 41 cases of Omicron detected in Ghana. That's according to the Ghana Health Service. Oh boy, oh boy. A few more stories. You can sue the media for abusing your rights as a suspect. Mamefwa Adazikum, that was yesterday on The Law. It's illegal to display identity of juvenile suspects as a legal expert. Free SHS policy is a success, Akufo-Addo. Cancellation of WASI results. Parents blame invigilators. CTAG to embark on indefinite strike on January 6th if ... COVID-19, we haven't experienced a fourth wave yet. Patrick Kumar, did we even admit to experiencing a third wave?
No, not officially. Okay. Not officially.
It's a major misconduct for a police officer to divulge information without authorization. Okay, much more news, entertainment, business, sports, opinions, and you can watch TV and live radio on myjoyonline.com. A very big thank you to the man in the suit, Mr. Elton Bove, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Joining us this morning. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Absolutely. You have a great day.
Thank you, Elton. Coming up next is the sports with Muftal. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break, and then after the sports, well, we get into all our conversations. So don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atta. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
About COVID-19 and the new variant Omicron, and how we're to ready ourselves for it and get vaccinated and stay safe and all of that, especially since Christmas is coming. And you know that when it gets to Christmas, we kind of just let go of all our inhibitions, and you know, we just want to have fun and let our hair down and all of that. But we have to remember to stay safe. And one of the surest ways of staying safe, of course, is getting vaccinated. Now, we know that about 34 out of the, I think, 45 people who have the Omicron variant in Ghana, about 34 of them came through the airports, and out of that 34, 75% of them have not been vaccinated. So, I mean, that just paints a picture of how important it is for us to get vaccinated, and also the fact that there are some new protocols that have been put in place for travelers coming into town. So that we can, you know, kind of contain what's going on with this new variant, which we've heard is more transmissible, even though perhaps a little less severe. But let me speak to my good friend, Dr. Fred Adumako-Boateng, who is the Bono East Director of Health. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well by the grace of God, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. We haven't spoken in a while, but I trust that everything is under control.
Yes, we are doing the best that we can, and I think so far it's going well.
Okay, so what's the vaccination been like for you in your region?
If you look at the national statistics, we are not doing bad at all. Target population for Bono East is actually 730,000 that we are looking to vaccinate. And so far, we have been able to administer about 231,000 of the vaccines. So if you look at our population in Bono East, at least about 29% of the people who are eligible have gotten one dose, and about 9% of those who are eligible are fully vaccinated. So that's the statistics for Bono East as we speak now.
Okay, to be quite honest, I was expecting a little bit more. I was expecting higher statistics. Why is it relatively low? I mean, 200,000 out of 700,000 is still a bit low.
Yes, so you remember initially, we kind of had some challenges with the vaccines. And then now we are really getting them. And then if you look at the value, initially our target population also was 620,000. You know, we were not giving the vaccines to children less than 18. But with the introduction of Pfizer and then the lowering of the age bracket to 50 years. That's how our target shot to 730,000. So with the influx of the vaccine now, I believe we'll be able to catch up with the percentage.
Okay. Are you still having a bit of hesitancy when it comes to people taking the vaccine?
We are not really having that challenge as with the exception of some districts from what we call the Eastern Corridor. But for Techiman, Kintampo North, and Nkranza, actually, almost when the vaccines are in, we are able to deliver all of them. So we are not really seeing that challenge. But the challenge that we were initially having was the lagging of we receiving the vaccines from the main national. But as we said, as we are speaking, currently we have a number of them. And then also initially the strategy that we were using to deploy the vaccine kind of was a bit slower. So what we are going to do is that we are also going to increase the number of teams that are going to deliver the vaccines. So now we have the vaccines now, and we're also going to deploy more teams. So we believe that we'll be able to catch up. As for hesitancy, we are not having that challenge. I must say that the demand actually is more than initially the supply. But these are early days yet. We have to wait and see as we get more of the vaccines and then see how people are going to react in receiving. Then we can talk about hesitancy. But we have some sketches, some part of the Eastern Corridor where we are having challenges. But when you look at Buneis, where we have densely populated areas, in Tampo North, Techiman, in Nkranza South, look, it's amazing the way people are really patronizing the vaccines. The mosque, the traditional leaders, churches, everybody is coming and arranging with us for us to get the vaccine. So these are early days yet, and as we have gotten more of the vaccines and we are going to deploy more teams, then we can really talk about hesitancy in Buneis. But it's not really a challenge for us.
Okay, I mean, that's good to know, but you do speak of some areas where there's a bit of hesitancy. Do you know why? What's the reason for that hesitation there?
Basically, you know the myth that were going around with the introduction of the vaccines. We also ask ourselves and ask the population, what are the so-called myths that they think will prevent people from coming for the vaccines. I can share some of them with you. Some of them were saying that, look, as a woman in your fertile age, if you take the vaccines and you are not careful, you'll be infertile for 10 years. And then you also will become born, but within 10 years. And then some of the men, they said that if you take the vaccines, you are going to have erectile dysfunction for 3 days. Then we probe further to ask that if these are some of the myths going on, why are they coming? Then they will say, oh, these are some of the sayings going around.
But Dr. Adumakubas, you know what's interesting is the specificity of the timelines. You know, you will be infertile for 10 years, you'll be impotent for 3 days. Like, where are these timelines coming from?
Yeah, so you have to ask yourself that question. In fact, when we have been having interview with some of our media personnel at Buneis East, every week we meet them and discuss. And they were also asking me those questions. And I asked them that, look, all of us here, we have gotten our vaccines, haven't we? They said yes. And I asked them, you also actually know somebody from your family, your friend, a close relative who has also received the vaccine, haven't you? They said yes. And we asked them, especially the men, when we talk about erectile dysfunction and inability to perform within 3 days, and jokingly we asked them, and who has experienced some of these? And all of them were laughing and saying, no, dog, we have not received any of them. Then I told them, then be the ambassador to spread the news that these are actually people who own imagination, that they are trying to come out to dissuade people from taking the vaccine. So these are sayings, but I always say that, look, as human institution, all these are always going to come around. All we need is communication. Yeah. Everywhere that we went and we asked them of the perceived perceptions and myths about, they said something. But the people who said that, they were sitting there and ready to receive the vaccines. So that one will come. But what we need is the ability for us to communicate and use our own self as an example to tell them that, look, I have received the vaccines, my close, my mother, my father, all close friends, they have received it. But all these challenges or fears that we are having, we have not seen them. I think that's what we are doing now.
Yeah,
as we communicate more, people will be ready to accept. And I can attest to the fact that, look, I know doctors, nurses. In fact, if you come to Bunei, those who are really championing this exercise are the traditional leaders. You know, we have gone to the Omahine house at Techiman, where all the prominent chiefs, the subjects, came to the palace to have their vaccines. We have liaised together with the chief imams, where Fridays we go to mosque. And I wish I can share some of the pictures. I'll send them later on. Where after their Friday prayer, they all come and receive the vaccines. Churches, we are arranging with them.
Okay.
So it's really going, and it's beyond our imagination. The kind of resistance that we are anticipating, we have not actually met those. But we as it's me, we always have some challenges as
of course,
we go around.
Of course. Okay, well, thank you. Don't go anywhere. I'm just sliding over to speak to Professor Alfred Yorson. He is the head of community health at the University of Ghana Medical School. Hello, good morning, Prof.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, it's so good to talk to you this morning. I hope you're okay.
I'm doing well, so always good to talk to you.
Fantastic. So we're just talking about a little bit of vaccine hesitancy that's happening in the Bono East region. What would you say in the past 10 months or so since we started vaccinating, in your experience, are we getting better, less hesitant, more hesitant?
Great. It's gratifying to hear from Dr. Adumakun what is going on in Bono East. And I wish the picture is the same throughout the country. In fact, it is not. And we've done 10 months, as you said, of vaccination, and we are still having issues in pockets of places. And it is not surprising at all. Anytime we have had as a country to introduce vaccines, it's the same stories keep coming up. And I always say we started vaccination in the country as far back as 1978. And these same stories of women being infertile, men being impotent, have been ongoing. And anytime you introduce new vaccines, it's the same stories that keep coming. And as Dr. Adumaku said, we should use ourselves as ambassadors. We have all been vaccinated. Were these assertions true? So that we communicate and assure people that really these are just myths and what people true about. It's the same with family planning. It's interesting to know that the women who have not used family planning are the ones who will spread the news about side effect that when you use it, A and B and C will happen to you. It is always like that with any public health measure. That really depends on people's discretion to use or not to use. Right. So we are not surprising, but we need as a country to continue the education and put in other measures to get people to vaccinate.
Yeah, okay. Good points there. But let's move on to the new variant and some of the new protocols that have been introduced to try and keep this variant at bay, as it were. So Omicron is here with us. We know that I think a little over 40 people in Ghana have tested positive for that variant. Out of that number, 34 cases were detected at the Kotoka International Airport. Out of that 34, 75% were unvaccinated. So obviously it brings to mind how important it is that we're checking at our airports for this. What do you make of the protocols that have been introduced mainly at the Kotoka International Airport in terms of international arrivals?
Yes, you recognize that since we had our first two cases on the 12th of March 2020, government has put in measures at the airport, and as the pandemic evolved, we try to modify it so that we don't unnecessarily disrupt trade, business, and visit to our country. However, to protect our people and to protect community, we need to modify as the pandemic evolves, and so many other countries are doing the same. If we look at the numbers and see that those who are coming in with the new variant, a relatively higher percentage of them are unvaccinated, then rightfully so, you need to demand of people coming into your country to have been vaccinated and show evidence of that, so that even before they embark on the trip in coming into your country, they know they should be vaccinated. Otherwise, they would not be allowed entry. And I don't think anybody will have any qualms about it. We really need to safeguard our borders, and that is what we've been doing. Other countries will quarantine you for 14 days, sometimes at your own cost. We are not doing that. We have amazingly been very flexible because we are putting other measures in place as well to curtail the spread of COVID in our community. So I agree very much, and I believe we are doing the very right things at the airport in demanding of people coming in to be vaccinated. If you are unvaccinated, then it's challenging to allow you into our country. The timings may be a little different and a little difficult. If somebody vaccinates, immediately the vaccine may not be effective. But we are not strictly going by timelines that if you vaccinate day 2 or day 3, you can't enter our country. That it's a little challenge for us, but we have allowed that because there are other measures we try to put in place to limit the spread of this into our community.
Right. Okay. So I guess that's the most that we can do when it comes to, Kotoka International Airport. But in your experience with community health, Christmas, and I think that if you look at the trend, Christmas has been the period of time that we've, had a lot of the spread happening. So we see that in January, our numbers are going up. The argument, of course, is that last year was election year, so there were rallies and there were all of this. But, I mean, there's also a lot of activities that are being planned for Christmas, lots of concerts and, get-togethers and all of that. And your experience with community health, is it advisable that we continue as though we're normal times, and we say things like, COVID-19 protocols to be observed and da-da-da-da. But the truth is, if you're at a concert and you get really excited, you get sweaty, you get hot, you want to take off your mask for 5 minutes and just breathe, or you just, definitely there will be some lapses. Is it a good thing, to say let's go ahead with life as normal, or should we perhaps, kind of pull back a little bit on some of these things?
Yes, I agree perfectly with all the points you have made. Christmas time, festive occasions are really high points for disease spread. And as you've rightly said, it is true. We need to work effectively. And the Ghana Health Service Ministry of Health is collaborating strongly with the tourism industry, the tourism authority, so that these points, cinemas, concerts, pubs, these areas, there should be special focus so that we ensure that the spread is limited. We do not want to curtail the little gains we've made, always with the economy at the back of our mind. Yeah. We don't unnecessarily want to disrupt. But as much as possible, we need to target these hot areas and work with the authorities whose responsibilities are to maintain law and order in these areas to do so. It is interesting that we are trying to mandate the need for vaccination. But again, the argument is, shouldn't we start in December where we know the risk is high, so that if you are not carrying a COVID card to show that you are vaccinated, you can't enter certain places? Again, we are putting human face to all that. We didn't have adequate vaccines over time. And therefore, so long as you've not offered people the opportunity to be vaccinated all through, it will be unfair to demand of them some of this and bring in the mandatory rules immediately. That's why we are waiting to January to do this. But as much as possible, now we are bringing vaccines as close to where people stay as possible and in all these areas. And therefore, we encourage Ghanaians as much as possible to get vaccinated within this month of December. Once we are able to do that, the risk, even though still persists, may be mitigated or limited. So the encouragement, the education should still be ongoing. And as we said, as we always say in public health, we need to do all this. And if these measures fail or do not achieve the right result, then we may have to resort to the Public Health Act, which provides the avenue for insisting on mandatory vaccination, so that your right, your failing not to get vaccinated will not put the life of others at risk. But we are doing this, giving people time to do what we say, the right things, and minimize the spread during the festive occasion.
Right, okay. Prof, also, I've been driving around town, you know, going in and out of places, and I've noticed that, you know, our mask wearing is not exactly, you know, as it should be. Even some of the places that are entering don't have hand washing stations anymore. And even if they do, you know, people are not as, you know, vigilant and all of that. How important are those protocols still? I mean, in the light of, you know, vaccination, because, you know, people kind of put vaccination on one hand and then the protocols on the other hand. So it's almost like, oh, if I'm vaccinated, then I don't have to worry about the protocols. You know, how do we make them work together? And actually, the thing is, if you are vaccinated, do you need to worry about the protocols?
Certainly, yes. And it is interesting to note, even though we have not done any empirical assessment to see, it is interesting to note that those who have vaccinated are those who are also wearing the masks because they perceive the risk. Those who didn't vaccinate or who are not ready to vaccinate are the same people who are not wearing the masks because of their belief that the virus does not even exist and all that. That is the challenge we have. We still need to encourage people to wear the mask, whether you are vaccinated or not. We always say vaccination does not prevent you from acquiring the virus. What it does is that even if you do, you may not be severely sick or require critical care, and that is a major advantage to our fight. If we have less hospitalization, less people being critically ill, then you do not have a lot of economic consequences. We must put this in context. If we fail to wear the mask, we fail to ensure the protocols, people get severely sick. This is, in economics, it is something that we need to, both economics and moral. Government will spend more money trying to treat these people. Health workers will spend a lot more energy and time taking care of this. Mind you, malaria is still there, diabetes is still there, accidents and injury. So the time that we can spare for these health workers to take care of this other condition will still be concentrated on COVID. So as citizens, as much as possible, we need to continue with the protocols, whether we are vaccinated or not, until such a time that the target we set for ourselves, vaccinating about 70 to 80% of the eligible Ghanaian population. Now we have included those 15 to 18. And therefore, we need to step up the effort and encourage the mask wearing, because we have a relatively higher numbers of persons who have not been vaccinated than we initially estimated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I get that. Prof, I'm just going to speak to Dr. Adumaku Boateng for a second, but please feel free to, you know, chip into the conversation at any time. So, Dr. Boateng, I'm coming back to you. A few months ago, we had a conversation, and you were telling us about how, you know, because Techiman is so busy, you know, you were having, you know, cars coming in, you know, and going out, and people, you know, moving from one trotro to the other, one bus to the other, and, you know, they would be removing their face masks. Some of them wouldn't be wearing their face mask, you know, and all of that. I wanted to know how that is going. You remember you had a drive to make sure that people were wearing their face masks and all of that. How is that going? You know, and just like I was asking Prof, the more people get vaccinated, you know, the more people are getting a little bit more lax with the protocols. But how are you handling it, and how is that going in your region?
So we have a cliche or a term that we have started introducing in Bunois. We say that anytime you are not in your mask or you are not doing social distancing and hygiene, it means you are naked for COVID. You are naked for COVID.
And naked
So
for COVID.
anytime when I meet people and in their lift and they are having no mask, I say, do you know you are naked for COVID? Like you are coming out without any clothes on.
Yeah.
So basically, that is what I have been telling people. And our premise is coming from unknown to a lot of people. And I think I'll share this with you. You know, we have various forms of coronavirus in the system. That I always bring it from principle that right now, Omicron is what we call one of the virus of concern. But we also have viruses of interest, and we have emerging viruses. People don't know that we can also have variants coming from Ghana, which can spread to everywhere. So until the pandemic is over, it means that at any point, whether we have a surge in Delta, Beta, Omicron, we have to be in our mask. And I think that is the communication and the social mobilization that we should re-engineer for people to know that, look, the pandemic is not yet over. And I believe that if that behavior, we have been able to address that behavior, then it won't be difficult for us to be. But the drive, we have been flip-flopping. And the consistency and the persistency is not always there. So it's like when there is a quick drive or a surge somewhere, then we come back to drum home of what we are supposed to be doing. So how do we communicate to people that, look, until the pandemic is over, now masking, social distancing, and hand hygiene is a critical part of our new normal. That has been a challenge for all of us, which we will have to somehow drive home a lot, because people will attest to the fact that even because of the way we are doing our hand hygiene, diarrhea diseases have reduced. A lot of these so-called upper
I think this year we
respiratory
didn't have that usual cholera peak that we do.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
For all our surrounding neighboring countries experience an outbreak of cholera, you notice Ghana did not have. So you see that whatever we are doing, though it's not tangible, it's contributing immensely to public health protection. So that's where we flip-flop is a challenge for us. And we shouldn't be naked. I want to also add, you see, all the surge that we have experienced, or the waves, people don't want the waves that we have experienced in the country, always came from a wave somewhere. You can talk about the UK one, you can talk about the India one, and the South Africa. And then the point of entry for the country is our airports. You see, every time it kind of that they come from international travel, and especially the last one. So I think the interventions put at the airport should be adhered strictly to, so that at least even if they are going to slip into the country, it's going to be a lesser evil than if we leave everything out. Because if you notice, all our waves or surges have come from international surges. So the mask, I think let's all of us discuss. I don't know about your workplace, Joy FM now, whether people are able to adhere to the protocols as and when that we should look at. So it's part of it's a difficult thing for us, but we will have to have a way of addressing this, the protocol, because it is try and tested. And if you look at the dynamics of COVID, you see, let me use this term, the reservoir is the youth. the strong people, they can have the virus and they are not sick. And they form majority of the population. So if you look, let's say from 12 years even to 18 years, it's the chunk of the population. So if these people who can have the virus will never come down sick, even to any symptom, can go and to the vulnerable, give it to the vulnerable, give it to the people who are high risk, then it means that the mask, the face mask, nose mask should be a general population, because apart from the vulnerable one, you also have strong youth who will always bring the virus to the house. So if we don't go for a massive adherence to the protocols, then we still have a challenge. And that's how we will have to re-engineer.
Okay.
And you see, the reason why people are canvassing for the less than 18, 12 to 18 people to be vaccinated is premised on this. Because they form a huge amount of the population, and they will always go to their grandmothers, their mothers, their great-grandmothers who are vulnerable, and these people look healthy. So apart from all the vaccines and all, we also will have to add a component of the mask. If you notice, even US, Germany, and other countries, when they attain some level of vaccination and they relax on the adherence to the protocol, you saw they were having challenges with that. And that also premised on some gap that we don't vaccinate, and they stay as a form of transmission. So we will have to come back and then make a serious campaign. Look, don't be naked for COVID. Anytime you go anywhere, you are talking to anybody without a mask, please, you are naked for COVID and you are at risk of having any type of virus.
Well, definitely an interesting term there, naked for COVID. But Prof, at some points I could see you nodding your head in agreement to what Dr. Adumaku was saying. Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of masking up and all of that?
Yes, it's true. I agree with what Dr. Adumaku said. And also for us working in closed environment like the studios like yours, and other work environment, we should be particularly careful at this time and the time after the festivities. Your colleague might go enjoy himself in the pub, in the cinema, in those areas, and may come to the office, and if people are not wearing masks, that's where the risk will tend to be higher. So we will encourage you, when people get to your studios, insist that they wear the masks.
Of course.
So long as you are more than one in a room, it is. Don't take things for granted. And you want all other workplaces to insist on that. You might have stayed, you might have kept yourself safe, but others might not have. And they may come and then spread the disease and the risk in the close working environment. So I will particularly ask those working in close environment to be strict on the physical distancing and the wearing of masks during the festive occasions and the few weeks after that.
Okay, Prof. So I want us to talk about Omicron a little bit. It's fairly new. There's still a number of people who haven't heard too much about it or who don't really know much about the details of the new variant. So I would really appreciate it if you could take us through what we know so far about Omicron, so that people are, have the, top of mind awareness about the fact that there is a new variant and we're not in the all clear yet.
Great. The virus, like any other virus, keeps changing itself. It is a way of trying to also survive. And anytime they do so, they try to have a characteristic that makes it more easily transmissible, and even with a shorter time of manifesting disease. So you will see that US and UK and others are shortening the time that you need to do the test. It used to be 72 hours, even in the US it's now about 24 hours. It means when you get infected with the Omicron, you may become infectious quite relatively at a shorter time than the other variant. That is very important. And if we are not able to maintain that, then it means the risk of spread within our communities will be relatively higher. This is why we need to ensure that we continue to maintain the protocols. For example, if we say, for example, the Alpha, the Delta, somebody gets it, it may take 72 hours before the person may be infectious and transmit it to others. This one is taking relatively lesser time or shorter time, and therefore within the same time space, it may be able to infect so many other people than the other variants would have done. Therefore, as a country, as a population, we should be mindful of this, that we are not out of the woods yet, and anytime a new variant comes, it has a characteristic that may be superior to the previous one, so that it's able to improve its ability to infect more people.
Okay, it sounds scary, suitably so, because we should be wary of it. And we've noticed the protocols that have been introduced at the airports, which are going to be taking, actually from 12th of December, so from midnight. You know, a lot of these protocols are going to be implemented. I know that at the beginning, you know, I did ask about, you know, some of these new protocols that's going to be happening at the Kotoka International Airport. But for those of us who are just tuning in, I just wanted to do a quick run through of some of these protocols that are being introduced. So all unvaccinated Ghanaians and residents of Ghana who are currently outside the country and intend to return within 14 days from midnight of 12 December 2021, well, they are exempted from having to show that they've been fully vaccinated. But however, they will be vaccinated on arrival at the airport. And why don't we take a listen to Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaji? He goes into depth on some of these restrictions, just in case you missed it.
Of the mandate, and on 30, the Minister of Health actually spelled out the mandate, which will come up in January at a date that he will fix, of course, based on the performance of the month's vaccination. And we have two groups. We have venues and we have people. So for the venues, we know cinemas, sports stadia, restaurants, and I think beaches and clubs. These are the venues that will be affected. Of course, that list can vary based on the kind of EI that will come up eventually. And then
so we are likely
people,
to see cinemas being closed again?
Oh, I'm not saying you have to be vaccinated to go.
To go, okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
I'm not saying to close that. You have to be fully vaccinated. When you watch football match and the stadium is full, everybody there is fully vaccinated. Okay. And they test before they enter. You see, so that is, and we also have people, all public government workers are to be fully vaccinated. All health workers, and I've told all our staff, are to be fully vaccinated, both clinical and non-clinical, because you have had the opportunity to get vaccinated. Commercial drivers will have to be vaccinated.
So all these groupings are being engaged? You are engaging,
engaging them?
staff?
Yes.
We are engaging the transport
sector. All engagement is ongoing.
Okay.
And so schools, when we reopen schools, it's likely that based on the final decision that the universities, SHS, and all those people will have to be fully vaccinated.
And
before.
Teachers as well?
Of course, teachers, including the teachers. So, I mean, teachers are government workers. So even if you take them in the school as teaching and non-teaching staff are all part of the group that will be affected. So we have them in that group. The issue is if you're going to watch a football match, you need to be vaccinated. And that's why we are spending this month giving more opportunity for people to get vaccinated so that it becomes more easier to do.
Okay, so
how do we look at it? It's simple. Everybody has a card, a verifiable card that you can verify by a person, of course. And you need to carry an ID card to see that the card you are holding is yours. And there are systems in the database that can let us know whether it's yours or not yours.
But the short course report, some people say they checked and it's still not working.
There are few. We've been correcting as many as possible. We had a batch that got a problem, and so we continue to tell people that go, if you scan and it's not coming, go to where you had a vaccination and it will be activated.
All right, so there you have it. But let's cross over to Jamestown now. They are quite known for not really wanting to get vaccinated. But Michael Ashale joins us. Michael, what's happening in Jamestown?
So in Nimwa, so right now we're at Bukom. We've left Jamestown. We're at Bukom at the moment. And here, there's brisk activity here. Early in the morning here, many of the people indulging in some petty trade and their trade activity, some others heading towards their various places of work. This morning we are here to talk about COVID-19 and the vaccination exercise. It's been going on for quite some time now, but the Ghana Health Service has declared the month of December the month of vaccination. We're here to speak to the indigents of Greater Accra, especially here in Bukom, to talk to them, indulge them on the vaccination exercise. One, have they heard about it? Or what do they make of it? Have they gone for their jabs? Which we are hoping that they would have. But let's see what we'll find out from the people themselves here. Ofana, good morning. Ofana, my people feel kashi vaccinated back in corona. My people kashi onu hello. Vaccine onu hello. Okay. So she won't talk to us. I'm often maybe vaccination by the back coronavirus. Oh no, hello. Oh no, vaccinate. Okay, she which one she chofane akehan helani ba coronavirus. Oh no, he. Mini waya buko.
Ma gumi me feel.
Oh, make ya she maybe because I can about Omicron whoever. Or maybe more. So she says that she knows about the vaccination exercise, but she's not gone for it. She's waiting for some time to elapse before she goes in for the vaccine. Vaccine chofane back in COVID, the coronavirus. Oh no, hello.
Okay.
Ni no know here. Mina care back she feel.
Aga ko gun he kan awo gbemeche no jino ni nu na ke efi
ni bodi enche ma be wa ke she oya gun ekolo
over na ngbuko
ko na mi ne o gbuko eko
lai ya jencho lo kente ni ya gun mi enche ke nkola ya ke mba mata shi ndon e
o tuma boy nye o teje me
o nteje ntemo shiete
kuma bi e mbe paten o te
ya methodis yaliem.
Okay. She bola ake chauffeur o mi no la chance na agbo no agbo.
Oh maya. No mi first en aka ke ko han bi fofo. Onyo gbo economy mi han bi le yi fofo. She nani banan le aka o. Akeko bi le na to mo 8 months ke ya o ba nyani ogun. No ni na ka maya ma.
So well, she's telling me that she also knows about it, except that she's tried to queue up to take the vaccine several times. She says 3 times. However, she always gives up just before it gets to her 10. But she's hoping that she'll still go for the vaccine. Let me ask some more people here. Imofana, good morning. Good morning. Ofana, people actually corona chofane ba onu hello.
Ofane enu.
Ni no onu he o agbo ekolo.
Ofane ngbo ko la yan ti se na ma gbo. Am te me kwa be wale. Shika son wo fiti ono wo shigbe idake bo ba gun no wo pagbu wo gun.
O wan ti he wale hila o gun.
Da kan lebe ni mo ba fe mi.
Ba awi akeji corona den chen wo ba ni ho be wale o mi no shegbe akeji o ba gbu corona vaccine.
Bebe na awi le ni wo mo so ake be ni ma show am lashin. It was any work no cover. She be any many one now want to say come make beni make me you come ya gbu amenye akene ekumo amekani bi ye any one na gbe se mo no wonye wa gbu
she again na kan hila jemo fiam na call be wale me few penny na na kan condition me na ewo e wale akesho wa go because hila hu ne ba nye gbegbomo
ele na kan no wale na kan ba le gbomo egbe was no protect way. She was a gobelin milk me war, Cabini won't tear book Cabini ballet. It won't be some by way. When you was going up, she will never let one year. You are done.
So she's been telling me that she's heard about the vaccine, all right, but she's declined going to the hospital to take it because people, relatives close to her, have fallen ill after taking the vaccine, and she says that, well, that is preventing her. She has fears that she may go through the same situation, so she's not been able to take the vaccine here. Let me get closer to some gentlemen. I'm speaking to some ladies here. They seem to know, but not so much. Not any of them have taken the vaccine. This morning, in Brown, I don't know what time if you living in. My people question could be, often one people about corona to find about vaccine neighbor. I will actually call you no way.
I find a local, but I can make the quick.
She only actually vaccine about to find back corona.
Often in New York, I will look local.
Okay, my people. Sort no akesheko.
Oh, kema wie too much of us and like me pin na me compare about chofan ke ka me gbon amenye ame body me wa me ro efe to mo wonye me ku me hun segbe ya ke an ba ya na me ba gbole kan chofan ne yoji ye mo ma je kan o yo ni.
Okay. Oh, be she mo ya ko shi o le mokoni ye benke bo wa ne ya gbon ko.
Oh, me wo shi am we me gbon. She could no tumor like a war, Bomonia time, no can but Romana Bomona time.
Okay, oh, Nutumo or Buku.
Yeah.
Okay, she not be a bagu.
Okay, not be a son man magbuake. Once in the main boom, and I'm a boo, a son in my boom.
Okay, all right, don't. So that's him there. He says that, well, he's heard about the fears. He also has fears, but he's not discouraged from taking it. He tells me that his busy schedule is what's preventing him from taking it here. So we are still here at Bukom interacting with residents here on the vaccination exercise underway for the COVID-19 vaccine here. That is ongoing. The Ghana Health Service declared the month of December the month of vaccination, hoping to vaccinate a lot more Ghanaians than we already have here. We're interacting with some more residents here to find out exactly one, whether they know about the vaccination exercise, and two, the misconceptions or the fears that they have about this. Let me ask the gentleman. Good morning. No, I don't actually I can buy you. Corona vaccine. Okay. So he says that because he's doing some work, he may not be able to speak to me about the ongoing exercise here. Let me ask my this lady here. Good morning.
Morning.
Corona vaccine neighbor onu hello. Chofana kan corona onu he.
Mo ka chiwa na nti nkan.
Okay. Enti me bisa o say corona drone aba no. What hu kan na?
Mate.
What hu kan wo? Na na what wo ho?
Yesi ni pa bebrebe wu.
Say.
Yesi ni pa bebrebe wu yare na aba.
Enti edru aba. Wa fa bi.
There me fabi.
I don't think Uncle Fabi.
I'm walking me me do a lock never make on off on me buy. To me by no more can say men drew. But me koji.
But anya dia upesa wa upesa unya okaba ko.
Me nyame koko.
Unya ba ko. Pacho unya daje na ko why. So, well, she says in Chi that she also knows about it, but she's not been able to go. Or she feels as a stranger over here, she's trying to do some work before she avails herself to take the vaccine. Ima fana mebe akashi corona chofane ba onu hello.
Onu ya.
Mi no nu ya chofane.
Me pi yo akeke ogbun e la ba mo buko e ba ni o ba gbo.
She olemoko ni benke bone akoekolo.
Me be mi agbu eko.
O ya agbu eko on the machine. Okay. No agbu e te o ten habo.
Ni agbu ani nfe to mo nfe basa simba ka shine wo. Sami nfuke.
Well, ejinoko ni because me pini ke wi me come akashi o because am enu moko be wale am me ya call she no o ya call to follow lo. You know ba ke ya me.
Oh, na me we be mi.
All right, well, this is the first person out of many that I've spoken to who says that he's going to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Let me ask you quickly. So, I saw to find sort of okay, so well, she does not remember the exact vaccine that she took because we have a couple of them. We have the AstraZeneca, we have the Sputnik, we have the Johnson & Johnson amongst others. She says that she's taking one of them. She doesn't know the exact brand she took. She was given the card as well. She will be the first of many that we've spoken to this morning. Tell people about Corona. Hello.
One way.
Me no know your chauffeur.
One way I can't walk.
She but then show agbo kolo.
Fare mi gboko.
Come be a minute or agbo ko chauffeur ko.
Segbe ya kan show agbo igbe o mi segbe.
O agbo yen keke wo yako e.
Agbo yen won yako e.
Ni jeni to mo.
Ka ba nya mi ku manuel e. Manyama ya shi. Ka je bi ni jeno ne anukwale igbun wa. Ko na ni doctor agbun mi afi bo mo ka re o.
Jenny Tomo onu akeshi mekun ebe wa like na bi no wo ya.
Oh dabi mekun wife me agbun. No dey care me ji first time ne agbun e ani efe do and kwale mi na e shin le mi second one along the same thing. She bi an le mi na ka cover.
O ma bibo finally akeshi ka ona dika o to bo no ka habo no na ba nyanu e.
Okay, so
he's telling me that he's afraid of injections, and that fear is what is preventing him from going to take the COVID-19 vaccine. However, if there's an alternative to instead of the injection, you possibly go and take the if it's a pill, you'd have to just swallow. He would be very much interested and avail himself for the COVID-19 vaccination. We are still interacting with folks here, residents here in Bukom, where we'll be interacting with some more people on the vaccination exercise after the Ghana Health Service declared the month of December vaccination month. Michael Opani Ashali, and this is me from Bukom. Anymore, over to you.
Thank you so much for that, Michael, and stay safe out there. Thank you. Okay, so we've just come back from Bukom, but we still have our guests joining us on Zoom. And I actually have a question for Professor Alfred Yorson. Prof, are you there? Hello, Prof.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right. So just a quick question. I mean, to clarify, you know the lady who had the baby, who talks about the vaccination and breastfeeding. Can you just clarify that for us? Because I just realized that I am actually not sure if you can take the vaccine when you're breastfeeding.
No, per the national protocols, we give to breastfeeding mothers.
Okay.
We do.
Okay. All right, okay. So another thing that really came out from me in the process of the interaction is the fear of the side effects. You know, this lady saying that, you know, her auntie wasn't feeling well and so they're afraid. What are we really going to try and do to be able to deal with that? Because, you know, the fear of the side effects is a big thing.
Yes, and rightfully so. I think that's where we need to step up the communication. In fact, many people after taking the vaccine will experience some of these things. And we need to tell them that this is expected. Once you take the vaccine, you are going to have A, B, and C. And when you do, you shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't make it seem as if after taking the vaccine, nothing will happen. It's a medication. And even the pain of the injection may be enough to scare people away. We need to assuage their fears and let them know that this is expected, and after a few hours you get out of it and it will protect you. The cost of not doing this is relatively higher than the little discomfort you may have, the headaches, the dullness as they describe it, a little lethargic, we will say. It is expected and it comes with most vaccines. So it is not peculiar to corona vaccine.
So I guess it's about upping communication so that people know, people know what to expect. Dr. Atumako Boateng, I'm sure you also watched that interaction that Michael had with the residents of Bukom. What are your thoughts on the concerns that they shared about taking the vaccine?
Thank you, Oniva. So what I gathered from the discussion was that, to me, about 80% of those who were interviewed, if they have access to the vaccine, if somebody is there, they will take it. I see that most of them is conflicting with their workflow. So that I think I had 2 or 3 of them saying that they had to join a long queue. And one saying that when it got to a 10, it was finished. So I see an opportunity in that. In fact, from the discussion, I don't see any hesitancy among any of them.
Okay.
The challenge is they having somebody close by communicating and giving them the job.
Okay.
So we realized that, look, for the man or the woman who is supposed to go to Makola, KJTR, Yeji Market and Techima Market, don't have that luxury of time to come and wait for 1-2 hours to get the vaccine. What alternate arrangement are we making so that we will make things easier for such people? Look, somebody is supposed to wake up around 3, 4, go to work. The person doesn't have that time to come to your site to get the vaccine. So what arrangement are we making? So these are the things that we are putting in place, that we will visit them where they are.
Okay.
So that if they are their marketplaces, do we have mobile teams? We are increasing the number of the people who are going to give the vaccine so that these people will be everywhere. So that is the challenge that we are having. These are not typical hesitancy that we talked about. So for me, it's enlightening, and I'm happy to engage in this. So that is what we are making. And you see the policies, as we're discussing with DJ, what we are putting in place. If you know you have to go to watch Protocol House, and before you can go and watch Protocol House, you have to show your card. Then it means that, look, you have no other alternative but to have the vaccine. So these are what we are going to use to generate the demand for people to come. And apart from that, the other people who will have to wake up, do their normal chores to be able to get something. How do we reach them? And if you notice what Prof said, normally those people, like people who want to go to their work in the organized or public offices, and they have been vaccinated, if you notice. And the same people, if you realize, they are likely to wear their masks because of what they perceive, the loss they perceive to get if they refuse the vaccine. How do we turn that into message for other people to see that, look, you can at time, it's an advantage for you to get a vaccine, and it's incentive for you not to get. How do we package that communication and give to the normal person who think, oh, if I get and I don't get, nothing will happen? These are the times that I think social scientists and all of us should engineer and to package and give to people. So the discussion we had, it's not really about, remember the last gentleman, he's afraid of the needle, not actually
the vaccine, just the needle,
And so how do we package for that? And most of us, we are afraid of the needles, if you really ask me about. So we write on that fear and then avoid taking the vaccine. So, and as Prof said, look, vaccines, as those of us who have children, if they go for vaccine, they will have fever, they will have pain. It's a normal effect of the thing that we introduce. We have avenues whereby if you feel anything which you think this one is excessive and it's small, you have to report. And we also communicate to them, look, when we are getting the site of the vaccination, we have emergency trolley there. Should in case you have any severe or serious effect, you will be able to resuscitate you. So we have made ample arrangements for all of us. But what I am getting is that, how do we reach the people because of the occupation? How do we get to those?
To the people. Okay,
Yes.
Got it. Thank you so much, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng, Bono East Director of Health. Thank you so much for giving us your time this morning. We appreciate it, and we continue to wish you all the best in your region.
Thank
also,
you.
a very big thank you to Professor Alfred Yorson, Head of Community Health, University of Ghana Medical School. Have a fantastic day, and thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right then. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have Showbiz with Ivy. Now, he is going to be telling you about Instroma, Adom TV's high life singing reality show for children. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Christmas festivities are already ongoing, and there are loads of activities for you to be able to step out and have fun. Well, Instroma is one of the activities that is going to get you glued to your TV set. Well, the audition for Instroma Season 4 have already taken place in Kumasi, Takoradi, Accra, just to find the top 30 contestants for the competition. Well, we announced the winners of the audition today on the show with Kobishan, who is the Adom Channel coordinator, and he joins me here this morning. Kobe, good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, Abby.
Okay. So how have the rounds been? 3 regions, Kumasi, Takoradi, back to Accra.
Yes, let me say hello to viewers and say thank you for supporting Adom TV and Instroma. Well, we were in Kumasi, and then we went to Takoradi, and then we finally landed in Accra.
Okay.
And the selections were amazing. You know, every year we do this, but this year around, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
The
We'll
kind
get
of
to
voices
that.
that we had. Bro, you have to watch them.
You have to watch them. Okay.
So now we have our 30 selected contestants to start the show.
Why 30 though?
Okay, the program is segmented into, we have different segments.
Okay.
And 30 contestants who engage themselves in a competition called the Classroom Project. The Classroom Project here refers to the contestant with the program beat.
Okay.
The program beat. We go to them without beats, nothing. We just give them, we just listen to their voices. We give them the keynotes for them to see, for them to know if they can sing with that or not. Now that we're going to test them to know if they really can sing or not.
Okay.
Because you can't just come into a competition if you can't sing. You should be able to sing on beats and everything. And then when you come, other things will be added.
Okay.
So we are now going to test them to know which of them can sing with beat, which of them cannot sing with beat, and then we receive them.
Okay.
So here all 30 contestants will bring their songs, and we'll program the beats for them.
They'll bring their own songs?
Yes, you have to select their own songs.
Wait, their own original songs? Or
no, not their
okay.
original song.
Good.
They select a song, a Ghanaian song that has already been in the system. This time around, I think we are lessening the burden of not just singing Ghanaian songs, but choose a song that is good.
Round the world.
Round the world, yes.
Round the world.
Yes.
Okay.
So come, you give the program beat, and then you sing to it. Let's see if you really know the song or not.
Well, if this is the first time you're hearing of Instroma, this is the season 4 of Instroma, and Instroma has produced amazing talent with the kids. So far we've had 4 winners, and apart from the 4 winners, we've had other runner-ups or people who didn't even make it to the top 5 but are in the music scene, and they are doing very well, and that is what Instroma is doing, just unearthing talent amongst the kids. So this is the season 4.
Yes.
Let's backtrack a little bit.
So you have to correct it. We don't have 4 winners. We have 3 winners already.
We have 3 winners. Yes, sorry. Yes, 3 winners.
Yes.
We're going on the 4th one.
Yeah.
Let's backtrack a little bit. The first one. How many contestants did you have?
We started with 30 contestants.
You started with 30 contestants?
The same way. We selected, we went round, and then we selected 30 out of over 4,000.
Okay, and then the second one?
Same.
30 out of?
Same.
Over 4,000.
I'm telling you. And this year, it was way above 4,000. We had a lot of people coming through.
I have seen some of the auditioning.
Yeah.
I've heard some of the voices.
Yeah.
It looks like this time around the kids were really prepared coming into.
I think they did prepare themselves because they know. A couple of them have been through before.
Okay.
The
competition, the previous
ones.
Oh, really?
They came for auditions.
Okay.
We had a couple of them who have come for the previous competitions.
Oh, and it's still open for them?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so you don't close your ranks on
Even if you don't win the ultimate, you still have the chance to come. It is only the winners that are.
Isn't that blocking some chances for some kids?
If you think you are good, come and compete. That's it.
If you believe you're good, come and compete. Yes, you're telling me you had the experience. Now let's talk about the experience of the 4th edition.
Okay.
Where first stop was Kumasi.
Was in Kumasi.
Yes.
And the True Vine Hotel was flooded with a lot of children. I mean, you should see them. Children from 5 years up to like 13 years. We know the ceiling was 13 years.
Okay.
Yes, we didn't have any floor, but then the ceiling was 13 years. So you should see them. They came in their numbers. But this time around, we have a lot of 13 years because, even if you are 12 years, you have 1 more year to come.
Yes.
So if you are
13, then it means
you are 12 and you are equally good as a 13-year. I personally would like to go in for a 13-year and give the person a chance so that they can't come again.
Yes.
But if you are 13 years and a 12-year-old can sing better than you, please bye.
What has been the youngest contestant you've had?
We've had somewhere around 7 years.
7
years?
Years.
7 years. In fact, he wasn't even 7 then. He was close to 7.
Okay.
Yes.
So 6 going on 7.
Yes. 6
and
going
these
on 7.
when they make it to the final 30, you bring them to Accra. You house them together with their guardians.
Exactly.
Wow, this must be,
Herculean task.
Yeah.
Very tight for us.
So, do you keep them in a house? Do you groom them? When you get the 30, what is the process?
Yes, the 30. Currently, the 30 are practicing with their songs.
Oh, so they are all in Accra now?
No, they are not in Accra.
They are not in Accra.
We are launching the show, the program, on Sunday.
On Sunday.
Yes.
That is when
West Hills Mall.
West Hills Mall.
After that, after the launch, they will come in 10s. The first 10 will come to Accra.
Okay.
We house them for the 3 days.
Hold on. So how do they come in 10s? Is it the 10 from all the 3 regions? How do you select the 10? The first 10, the second 10, the third 10?
Okay. We don't have any particular way of selecting.
Okay.
We pick them at random.
Oh, okay.
And group them.
Okay.
And then we try to do the regional balance.
Okay.
We try to do the regional balance.
3 regions.
Yes, 3 regions.
So you make sure that out of the first 10, second 10, third 10, there is well balanced.
Exactly.
In there.
But then the public should understand that we did not actually choose 10 from Kumasi, 10 from Accra, 10. No, we didn't do that.
How did you do it?
Okay, we select the best. In fact, what we did was when you come and sing and we see that you are good,
okay,
they will say yes. The judges will say yes.
Yes. Okay.
If you are no, then you are no.
Okay.
So we brought all the yeses to Accra. And then it doesn't matter how many yeses we had from Kumasi or how many yeses we had from Takrady. We may have 25 yeses in Accra. We have 100 yeses in Accra and all that. We bring them together, all the yeses together, shuffle them and start. And then the judges will sit down and watch them again.
Okay.
Watch them again and select the best 30 out of it.
Well, did you go around with the judges, or in every region you had judges there to select to do the yes?
We do have judges everywhere, but then we go with the resident judge, that is Akwabwa.
Okay.
We go around in Kumasi, Akwabwa was there, Takrady, Akwabwa was there, here to Akwabwa was there. When we get to the region, we select somebody from there too. We know a couple of people who are very good in music, so we select them and then we use them as judges.
Well, let's take a look at the kids, the audition. When we come back, you tell us about who will be handling them once they are in Accra and all that. So these are the kids who were part of the selection. Now, this is Francisca Adom, St. Joseph's Preparatory School, Class 2. She's 7 years of age, and she is from Cove Town. Wow, she is 7 and she's made it to as part of the top 30. And this is Hadassah M.A. Anku. And that is the school, Susan O.M. School, GHS1. She's 13 years. So someone like that cannot come for next year, right?
No.
Okay. Well,
unless something happens and then we say we are lifting the bar a bit to 14 or 15.
Do you think the bar will ever
I
be
don't
lifted?
have. I don't think we do. We have any plans to do that.
Okay. And this is Gloria M. Abrampa. And the school is Anomaso MAGHS, and she is GHS 2, 13 years of age, Anomaso in Kumasi. We have Irene O. Amwakon, and she is from Prophetess Mary Boafo MEM school. She is in class 6 at the age of 11. Okay, so she's also from Kumasi, right?
Okay, she's from Asindaman, I think.
Asindaman.
I think she.
Ashanti region?
I think it's in the central region.
It's in central, okay.
I think she auditioned in Takoradi.
In Takoradi.
Yes.
So it means you can have kids all the way from Kumasi auditioning in Accra.
We had kids all the way from Tamale auditioning in Kumasi. Wow. And we have kids all the way from Seshi.
Okay.
There's a.
Hold on, this is Irene
Isaac
Abua. And Fire Armor 1 Basic School, class 5, age 12, in Medina. Okay, well, he's from Medina here in Accra. So he can come again next year if should he not even make it to the finals, right?
Yeah, even if she makes it, even if he makes it to the finals and doesn't win, he still has a chance to come.
Because he's 12 years old.
Yes.
Okay. So now, well, the pictures will be rolling, but let's talk about who will be handling them. I know the previous ones, we've had Nana, who has been handling them.
Yes, Nana Nkrumah.
Nana Nkrumah, is he still handling them?
Yes, the original Kupanga, we call him. He's still handling them.
Okay. And what process does he take them through?
Well, Nana Nkrumah, for some reason, is a talented groomer when it comes to music. He, apart from playing the drums very well, he plays the keyboards a little bit. He plays bass very well, and then he sings.
Okay.
So Nana Nkrumah will take them through the voice technicalities.
Okay.
And then how to sing to the beat, how to stay in key, and all that. Everything concerning music, he will take them through.
These are processes you give the kids when you get them. The final 30.
Yes. No, the final 30, you don't groom them that much.
So which number? What stage in the competition?
The final 30 after singing, we'll prune them down to 12.
To 12.
Yes.
So it is the 12 that you give this grooming.
Exactly.
They will start the live performances.
The live performances, yes.
How do you eliminate from 30 to 12?
Yes.
If there is not going to be any live performance.
That's what I'm saying, that they will come in tens.
In tens, okay.
In tens. After the launch, the following week, you see the first 10 come.
The first 10. Okay.
Sing to the beat. The judges are there to judge.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is how it goes. So first 10, then how many do you take out of the first 10?
We don't know the number.
You don't know the number?
No.
So it's possible that the first 10 can make it?
Yes. It's possible.
Colin, this is exciting. Yes. This is really exciting. So it means it's a do or die affair.
Exactly. Exactly. So when you're coming, you give your best shot. Okay. Else, you think, let me keep the best for the last. You lie bad.
So it is right from the very beginning.
Let's see how good you are.
Okay.
Let's see how good.
So it is when you see it up to 12 that you give them. I mean.
All the tuition that they need.
All the tuition that they need, and then you take them to the studio.
Yes, that's where when they sing to live band.
Okay.
Akabla the Whitechapel will be there on stage, live band. You see the children performing.
Okay, that is where the live band performances and the whole reality thing starts for the kids.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that is interesting. And who is going to be part of Akwabwa? Well, for the judging.
Well, we still have
Here
Akwasi Japan.
Okay.
And then we'll have guest judges from time to time.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long is this going to be on TV for?
For 17 weeks.
17 weeks.
Yes.
Starting next weekend. Next Sunday.
Yes.
This coming Sunday.
Yes.
Till somewhere
in May, April or so. Yes.
That's where the grand finale will be.
Yes.
Okay. What has become of the 3 winners?
Well, they are doing very fine. Some of them have their music out. Some others are still in school. I mean, Righteous Van Dyke just finished GHS. Okay. Can you imagine? But he has a couple of musics out.
Okay. And Janice, I know, has been with Kwame Eugene.
Janice?
Is it Janice?
No, you are talking about Ashley Chooks.
Ashley Chooks. Yes, Ashley.
She also has some few tracks out.
Was she a winner?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't. Okay,
Actually,
so
she was even third.
She was third.
Yes, she was third.
On the second.
No, the second was in Shiraba Gideon.
No way, on the second edition. On the first edition. So Ashley Chooks was third. Went Righteous Van Dyke won.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And I know there's also one with Celestine who has been singing with Celestine.
That is in Shiraba Gideon. He was second.
Second. Yes. On the first edition.
The first edition, yes.
Okay. And then the second edition
Victor
was
Chumanpofu. Victor Chumanpofu won. And then, he's also doing very well. He's still in school.
He's still in school?
Yes, he's still in school.
So how are you able to, get them to do schoolwork and at the same time, get the music done too?
Yes, we advise the parents a lot. We tell them that, Charlie, these are kids. School is ultimate. Let them go to school, at least reach a certain level, and then they can pursue the music very well. But that notwithstanding, they don't put the music aside.
Okay.
Because they still rehearse, they still feature in other people's music and all that. So we try to combine them.
Well, still on your screen, we are having some of the contestants who have made it to the top 30, and you'll still be seeing them as the pictures roll. So does it mean that immediately after the grand finale, the process of grooming them ends? It stops there, or you still go on to check?
Officially stops.
Okay.
But the kids, they always fall on Nanankroma. Okay. When they need anything, they fall on Nanankroma. They call me from time to time. They call us. They still engage us when they need help.
Okay.
Yes.
And what has become of Abrantier? Who won?
Abrantier is still in school, you know. He's still in school, and then he's doing very well. In Kumasi, he's called Kumasi JZ. You can imagine.
I spoke with the parents at the day of the grand finale, and they were super, super excited.
Yes.
They believed that Abrantier had something, and he's a twin too.
Yes,
his twin brother
is so excited.
He couldn't just believe it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So starting Sunday. That is when it's going to be live on Adum, right?
Yes, it's going to be live on Adum.
What time?
But it's going to be at the West Hills Mall, so we expect everybody to be there. Come and see them live.
Okay.
At the West Hills Mall. It's an open space. If somebody's charging you money, please. The only thing that is needed of you is to have your COVID protocols in mind. So
okay, and also have your card.
Yes, have your card.
Okay. Has there ever been a situation where you've gotten feedback that someone is trying to take monies for auditioning?
It happens some of the kids? Every year. Even this year, we are tracking somebody.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, so there are some people.
They come. Even the forms that we give to the children for free, they take money from the children and they want to sell it.
So what becomes?
Before we start, we hammer it on the TV that, listen, this is free. If you come and anybody is taking your money, approach the bench and let us do something.
So what becomes the fate of those kids who have to pay for quack forms?
We don't do anything about it. We can't do anything about it.
And you don't even let them audition?
No, they do. Once you have the form, you audition.
Okay.
But whether you had the form via buying or you had it from our people, we don't really know. We don't really know.
Once you bring the form.
And it's our form, we do it.
You do it for them.
Yes.
Okay, so that is Instrument Season 4, which is just about starting on Sunday, and we've had Koryeshen here as a channel manager channel coordinator for Adum, who has been telling us a bit more about this reality show. Well, it's a reality show that is unearthing talent amongst the kids, and you should be a musician. Well, Kobe, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Well, don't forget that you are live on the AM show, and this has been the Showbiz segment. The name is IB, and have a beautiful morning. And he was just about to wrap it all up for us.